I'm with Tim Swore, the NorthPointe Christian High School varsity football coach. Tim, if there's any program here in West Michigan that probably could benefit from a playoff system that would allow everybody in, I think it would be NorthPointe, because I think, as you said, you're the only Class C program playing in the OK conferences. You surprised me, though. You said, you know what, we kind of like it the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think playoffs is something you need to earn. And man, our society, we keep getting away from earning things and want it given to us. I expect we have to go at least 5-4 to have a consideration to be in the playoffs, and then it's by points. And most seasons, because of the schedule we play, if we win more games than we lose, we get in the playoffs. I don't think that's crazy or unfair thinking. I think that playoffs should be a reward. It should not be easy to make it, and it shouldn't be given to you. So, we play up every week, so we would probably benefit from the point system that rewards you for playing higher schools. But if that's the conference we're in, that's the conference we're in. We need to win more than we lose to make the playoffs, or the playoffs don't mean much.
And Tim, you've had a couple of deep playoff runs in recent years too.
Sure.
I mean, has there been a year though when you thought, man, we deserved it? And
well, yeah, I think we went 4-5 a couple of years ago, and that team was good enough to make the playoffs. But deserve it means you come through in the end. That group lost 3 games by 8 points or less, and 3 games on the last possession of the game. Either we could have scored and didn't, or they scored on us. We needed to win one of those to make the playoffs, and we didn't. So in the end, you don't deserve to go if you don't go 5-4. A team without a winning record shouldn't make the playoffs. And under the system that they want to propose, you could go 3-6 if you play a tough enough schedule and be in the playoffs. But that's for the bigger schools generally. And if you look at the playoff turnaround, then usually if you're in the OK Red, you make the playoffs, you're going to turn right around and play a team that just beat you by 3 or 4 touchdowns in the regular season. And then you're out anyway. So I think, A, it's the most important to make sure we're getting the people that win state championships who should win state championships. I don't think anybody argues that changing the system is going to change that. Secondly, it's rewards something for a good regular season. And I think spending all the time on this, I think we're missing the point. I think more time and energy should be spent on how do we grow our game. We're losing numbers, Steve. We're losing numbers of participants in the sport of football. And I don't think just saying everyone makes the playoffs is going to help that. I think we need to figure out what we can do. Things like, I'm all for a 10th game. So let's say you make the playoffs, you're in the playoffs. But let's say you didn't make the playoffs. Scheduling another game with another team that didn't make the playoffs. Those 2 teams are much more equal, apparently, by their record, and let them, maybe we create some new rivalries, have some fun. Let them play each other, split the gate, split concessions, so that nobody's making extra money, but give them a 10th game against somebody else. And things like extra scrimmages for our JV kids. Because a lot of us, we don't have enough to have a separate JV team, so we can have a couple of scrimmages, but we're limited by the number of 4 of scrimmages we can have. We're trying to keep the kids engaged that are on JV. Small schools are really struggling. Ithaca, the powerhouse, nearly won 5 in a row. They won 4 and lost in the championship just a couple years ago, okay? They have 22 varsity football players. That's it. The popularity of football, as far as participation, is starting to die out. We need to figure out what we can do to make that go away and do a better job there. So I think the time and energy spent on this playoff thing is wasted. Let's talk about how we can make our game more popular, how we can keep kids more engaged, and have things at the lower level, whether it's full-fledged flag football programs and competitions, so that we are getting to the young kids and we're explaining, Steve, football is important because of what it teaches. Football on its own is a silly little game, but if you're going to teach kids to persevere, to make others more important than themselves, to take coaching and teaching and to deal with adversity so that they're better employees, employers, parents, right? Moms, dads, husbands, that's why football is important.